Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a single strategy that research shows can absolutely supercharge student learning. It's all about moving beyond that old phrase, do your best, to something way more powerful, effective goal setting. So let's kick things off with a phrase I bet we've all used, right? Just do your best. We say it with the best of intentions, but let's be real for a second. Is it actually working? Does it really push students to grow? Or is it just some well-meaning but ultimately empty advice? Well, the data it's crystal clear. The amazing education researcher John Hattie found that clear goal setting has an effect size of 0.56. Now, if that number just sounds like, jargon to you, think of it this way. That is like packing more than a full year of academic growth into a single school year. It's a huge impact, and it proves that do your best just doesn't really cut it. Okay, so let's dig into why this shift is so critical. We're going to start by looking at the incredible power of setting goals that are not just clear, but are genuinely challenging. And yeah, this quote from the research, it absolutely hits the nail on the head. The key word here, the magic word, is challenging. See, do your best is a sentiment. It's not a target. A challenging goal, one that's tailored to where a student is starting from, gives them a clear destination. That's how you start to build a classroom culture of high expectations, where every single student is set up for growth. So what does one of these super powerful goals actually look like? Let's, break down its anatomy. And you might be surprised. It's actually pretty simple and elegant when you get right down to it. It really boils down to this simple two-part formula. A great learning goal has to clearly state what students need to understand. That's the knowledge part. And then it has to define what they need to be able to do with that knowledge. That's the skill part. You get those two things right, and you've basically created a roadmap for learning. And this clarity, it's a total win-win. For you, the teacher, your planning becomes laser-focused. For the students, learning becomes visible. They can literally see the path ahead, from basic comprehension all the way up to complex skills like analysis and evaluation, because they know exactly what success looks like. All right, so theory is great, but let's get practical, right? It's time to open up the teacher's playbook and look at the real, concrete do's and don'ts for bringing powerful goal setting into your classroom. Yeah, and this slide, it just perfectly captures the contrast, doesn't it? Over on the left, you've got the effective path. You're assessing prior knowledge to set challenging goals, where every single activity has a clear purpose. But then on the right, you see all those common pitfalls we can fall into. Praising effort without results, or, comparing students to each other instead of focusing on their own individual progress. And this is the really crucial point. When students get it, when they truly understand the goal, the ownership it shifts. They're not just passive recipients of information anymore. Nope. They become active participants who can self-monitor, see their own progress, and even start to frame their future learning goals. That, right there, is a game changer. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like, on a Tuesday morning in a real classroom? Let's jump into two fantastic examples of this strategy in action. Okay, first up, let's take this example from a secondary PE class. They completely transformed a Year 8 dance unit. So what they do? First, they designed a proficiency scale with crystal clear intentions for every lesson. This meant students knew the destination right from day one. They used that scale to self-monitor their progress, and at the end, they could confidently assess their own gains and set new goals. And the results? It was absolutely transformative. By making that learning path so visible, students weren't just going through the motions anymore. They were engaged, they were committed, and they were confident that the goal was actually within their reach. It gave them a real sense of purpose. All right, now let's zoom out and look at a bigger scale. This other school was facing some pretty widespread student disengagement, and their solution? It was simple, but honestly, it was brilliant. They put mini whiteboards in every single classroom, dedicated just to learning goals and success criteria. After just one term of using them consistently, student engagement surveys showed a sharp increase. So the big question is, how do you bring this into your own practice? Well, the good news is, this isn't about some massive, scary overhaul overnight. It's really about seeing this as a professional journey and just figuring out, okay, what's my next step? So take a look at your own practice and just see where you might fall on this continuum. Are you at that emerging stage, just getting started with setting clear goals? Or maybe you're evolving and you're using data to make those goals more challenging. The ultimate destination, of course, is excelling, where your classroom culture is so strong that students become co-architects of their own learning journey. And listen, the key takeaway here is to see this as a roadmap for your own growth. It's a tool for reflection, not a stick to beat yourself up with. The only questions that really matter are, where am I right now? And what's one small thing I can do to take that next step? And that brings us to our final and most practical takeaway. Let's just forget about redesigning your whole curriculum for a minute. Just think about tomorrow. What is one single learning goal for just one lesson that you can make a little bit clearer for your students? Because that small step, that's where this whole powerful journey begins.